And hi and welcome to our Baylor Coaches Show live from Rudy's on the Circle in Waco. We're glad you're with us this evening. We appreciate everyone that is here in person, everyone listening, everyone watching. It's great to have you with us, and join me in welcoming our first guest this evening. Welcome in Baylor Acrobatics and Tumbling head coach Felicia Mulkey.
Hi, John.
Listen to that. Listen to that round of applause. Fantastic. And you're all resplendent in gold tonight?
Yeah.
Very
nice.
Repping, yeah. Is that new?
It is.
That's very good.
Talk to the director of ops. I just get it when I walk in the office. So.
That shows well on TV. That is great. Well, welcome. We appreciate you being here. Thank you very much. I messed up your introduction. I should say the coach of the 6-time defending NCATA national champion Baylor Acrobatics and Tumbling team. How about that? That doesn't get old, does it?
No, it doesn't.
Going for 7 straight this year. Let's just put the pressure on you to win number 7 coming up.
Yeah, I put it on myself. So, yeah, we have hopefully another one coming in.
I know you do. What do you do in the fall? What's going on with your team right now?
Right now we're just training. We have 15 freshmen, so we bring everybody in and kind of get them on the same playing field. You know, in our sport, they come from all different backgrounds. So we have a gymnast and acrobatic gymnasts, competitive cheerleaders. So we bring them in the fall and train and kind of go back to basics. We just started our 20-hour week segment, I guess about 3 weeks ago. So really getting into the nitty-gritty now. I'm excited. So every day it's kind of like taking inventory of what we have, what we're going to have to work with this year. So it's fun.
Good. You sort of, this is sort of the laboratory time, right? And then you come out and you're on display with matches in the spring.
Yeah, I guess so. I like that. I might use that. Yeah.
15 freshmen. That's a large number, isn't it?
It really is. Well, we have 51 total on the team.
Okay.
So 15 freshmen. I'm actually graduating 17 seniors. And then we have a couple that will, you know how they do it at Baylor, we graduate early. So we're going to lose a large class this year, which I'm sad about, but also really excited because it's such great leadership. We have great leadership this year. So, but the 15 freshmen, they're learning on the fly. They're doing good.
Is that 17 number of seniors, or the ones you're losing, that's larger than normal, isn't it?
It really is. We had a big class a few years ago, and then we, again, several graduating early that should have probably graduated the next year, but they come in and get so much done and get out and get on with their lives. So, yeah, a little bit bigger than usual.
They're highly motivated to just move on past Baylor. Is that COVID related? Did you have some with an extra year that now are in that number?
We have one that stayed
Just
through
one.
for her 5th year. Yeah, for her 5th year. And we're excited for her. Bree Harris is going to be back and is our 5th year senior.
Very good. What's the state of acrobatics and tumbling? I know it's emerging sport status. I know you like to talk about this. It's still good news, right? Upward
really
and
is.
upward and upward and forward.
Yeah. So we right now are at, oh my gosh, I always get my numbers mixed up. We're at 38 schools right now. Across the country, and we need to get to 40 to become an NCAA championship sport. So we're truly an NCAA sport at this point and have been since August 1st of 2020. And when we get to that 40 number, then we will compete one year with 40 schools, and then that's when you'll see it really blow up, which it kind of already has blown up. I mean, since I've been here with you for 8 years, this is my 8th year here. Yeah. It's blown up. But for example, we had a webinar an informational webinar for schools that are interested just yesterday. Was that yesterday? Yeah, with 20 schools that are interested. Yes.
Wow.
Many of them Division I, several in Texas. Very exciting.
Oh, that's good news.
So it's really, we're right on the cusp of it just being a lot bigger than what we always talk about. So
that is really good news, and you can't give any names.
I can't.
You can't hint at any schools.
I can't really.
I understand. I won't push. But you're right there. I mean, if you've got 38, you need 40. You're right there.
We have some commitments. We will have definitely two add before the end of this academic year for sure.
Okay.
And then there will be some more, but we'll definitely be at 40 by the end of this academic year. So I'm shooting for 50 now. So I mean, let's just get past 40 and go
blow
to 50.
past 40 for sure. Well, I know you're so proud of that because you're the head coach of Baylor of this sport, but you're the Pied Piper, for the NCATA in drumming up support and adding new schools. I know you're proud of the way that it continues to grow.
Yes, Pied Piper or loudmouth. Those are interchangeable in this. But yeah, we are really excited about it. We started it 13 years ago, I think. Oh, gosh, I'm dating myself, but a group of college administrators and college coaches came together to do something we think for the right reason, to offer these opportunities for young women across the country, and just to see it grow is just fantastic.
Yeah, and that's a common tone when you talk about this, to present opportunities for young women, and it really has done that.
Yeah. Well, in my position, I get to see it change lives every day while we're coaching, and then it's very cool to go out and recruit and talk to these young women who didn't think they were going to get to compete at the collegiate level. So to see their eyes light up and go, oh my gosh, I can do something. I can be a Baylor Bear, where they didn't think it was there before. So that part never really gets old.
Good. What about the support of the administration here? I mean, you get everything you not everything you ask for, but you get everything you need, right?
We do. Baylor's fantastic, second to none. And and you too. We got to give a shout out to John. He is really the Pied Piper, and what you've done for our sport.
I follow you. You're the Pied Piper.
What you've done for our sport has just been fantastic. And then Mac and all of the administration. We were already here when Mac came in and brought this administration in, and the fact that how they've wrapped their arms around us and really helped us grow. It's amazing. There's no better place.
That is really cool. The championships, the NCATA national championships, were here in Waco last year when you won your most recent national championship. It'd be too much to ask to get them back this year.
You did this last fall.
Oh, I did, didn't I?
This. Yes, and you.
But it worked last year.
It did. I won't say you jinxed us, but you did this to us last fall. Let me use your trick here. But we will be. The University of Oregon will be hosting this year.
Come on.
Yeah,
Okay.
I know. Yeah, they'll do a fantastic job hosting. They were actually supposed to host the past 2 years, and then Baylor, being the way Baylor is, stepped up and did it in the middle of COVID, which I'll be forever grateful for.
I remember asking you that question. And, and kudos to Oregon for wanting to host, and they'll do a fine job.
They will.
But I'm telling you, nobody does it like Baylor does.
Absolutely not. There's no better place than to host it here.
So the next year, be back here, or that hadn't been determined yet.
Well, I'll tell our executive director that you put in a bid for Baylor to host again.
Please do.
Okay.
Please do.
Okay.
All right, we're off and running on our Baylor Coaches Show tonight. We're glad you're with us. Coach Felicia Mulkey, head coach of the 6-time defending national champion Baylor Acrobatics and Tumbling team, is with us. We'll take a break and be right back. We're live at Rudy's Real Texas Barbecue, and we'll be right back after this. Back with us live from Rudy's on the Circle in Waco. Thanks to our host here at Rudy's. It's the Baylor Coaches Show this evening. Thanks to those of you that are tuned in, those of you that are here in person. Young Mason is here tonight. Mason is a big Baylor fan. Hey, Mason, we are glad you're here. We wouldn't want to do the show without you. We're with Baylor Acrobatics and Tumbling head coach Felicia Mulkey for the first half hour of the show this evening. And I'm reminded, as one of these TVs is showing a little World Series action, you've got some Georgia roots, don't you?
I am a Georgia peach.
Yes, you are.
Yes.
So a Braves fan?
I am.
Oh, are you into this World Series?
You know, I have not watched as much of it as I should, but yes, I am into it. I remember when the Braves won in 1995.
Yes.
Yeah. I was living school there and was downtown for the celebration when we won the World Series. Yeah, so I will not be in Atlanta this time when we win, but maybe I'll be in Waco, so we'll see.
Very good. That's
Yeah.
pretty cool. Pretty good memory.
Yeah.
Going downtown to celebrate
Yeah, it
after a
was
World
fantastic.
Series win.
Yeah.
Their most recent one was 1999.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay,
But you
this
didn't
was
celebrate that
90.
one?
No. Was it? Did they win in 95?
Yes, I think.
That is the one that I remember.
Yes, 99 was just their most recent
Okay.
World Series
No,
win, so.
95 was, I'm really dating myself. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, very
that's
cool.
Okay.
That's a very good memory.
Yeah.
All right, Braves and Astros. So you got a lot of girls on your squad, probably from the Houston area.
Well, yes, I do. It is a house divided,
Yeah.
kind of. Yeah. Because I have some Georgia athletes as well, Florida, that are Braves fans. So we're divided up.
Very nice. All right, enjoy the World Series. It is two really good teams, so it is fun to watch. We've got a question from our audience tonight. It is our First Place Foods Ask the Coach question. First Place Foods, that's a darn good pickle. It is from Andy. Where is Andy in the room? Andy is right there? Oh, yeah, Andy, thank you very much. Andy says, what is something about the sport you would like for the average fans to know?
Oh, wow. Well, I always tell everyone, if you know nothing about it, just come and you'll be completely entertained because everyone likes to see people flip around and be thrown into the air. You can't help it. I would say for average fans, this is a true story, and I will argue any other coach that says differently, but we are the strongest team in the Baylor athletic department, pound for pound.
Can I say that I agree with you
Yes,
completely on
yes.
that? Yeah.
So you should know
Yeah.
it is the strongest, especially this year. I can't wait for you guys to see what we have in store this year.
Oh, my gosh.
Holy moly, yeah.
Who would question that?
I'm just telling you.
What
well,
coach of what sport
I don't
would
know.
question
Football
that?
maybe. Track and field has been known to question, but bring them all to me because there's no way. We are by far the strongest.
All right, let's tell everybody this. Last year, after one of your meets, I came to you with that question. I said, what other sport would be pound for pound stronger than your girls? And you said nobody.
No one.
And you didn't put me up to that question. I mean, I had that thought myself. So I agree with you completely.
Yeah. The athleticism alone is just so incredible to watch, and you're going to see some different stuff out there this year than what you've seen before. Some different balance movements, some different strength movements, just because we have a few specialists on the team now.
Okay.
So I'm really excited for you to see it.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And to reaffirm that also, I was leaving one of your meets and was walking out with R.J. Sneed, who's a receiver on the football team. And I said, hey, you're a good person to ask this. And I asked him that question. And he said, oh, no, they're the strongest. They are the strongest for sure. So this is a football stud receiver saying that about your girls. Very nice.
I appreciate that, RJ.
All right, very good, RJ. When you say specialist on your squad, define that.
Well, there are different positions that you can compete. So you can be a tumbler, a top. Those are the ones getting thrown around, or the bases, and the bases are the ones picking everybody up and throwing the tops around. We have some specialists from acrobatic gymnastics, a specialist base and a specialist top, a couple of specialist bases actually, and just things that, just the balance moves and the hand-to-hand connection moves and things. It looks like Cirque du Soleil, and it's always super impressive to see what they can do. But even today at practice, we were like, oh man, I cannot wait to get this out there. So I'm excited for the fans to see it.
Yeah, very cool. That's impressive. How do you, what's the process like in designing new routines, doing something new, that you'll bring into this season?
I stay up all night. You can ask my husband. So I'm just always thinking
Jeff?
about it.
Yes, he says yes.
Always thinking about it. But what we do, you asked what we do in the fall. We kind of take inventory of what we have, and each year there's a different dynamic and a different set of tumblers and et cetera. So you take where the strengths of the team are and you build it around that. And you also like it to be a little challenging. I think we could come in and do the exact same thing that we did last year and do really well, but I don't think they would have fun with that. So we'd like to make it a lot of fun and come in and do some things that are going to challenge us. So we just have some different things to work with this year.
And the closing event, the team event, is a literal three-ring circus out there. How fun is that to design and tweak from year to year?
Yeah, that is actually what we work on it first, believe it or not.
Do ya?
Yeah, because that's the one where there's the most people out on the floor.
Right.
So that is, we figure out what we're going to put in that part of the routine or that part of the meet, and then everybody works toward that, and then you back out to the smaller pieces. So it is a three-ring circus, and it starts on the first day of our 20-hour week. We start working on that and figuring that part out.
How about that?
Big puzzle piece.
That is fun. Do most schools, you're at the top of the heap. I mean, I think it's fair to say that you've won 6 straight national championships. Do most schools change their routines much from year to year, or not you, but other schools?
Yeah, I think every school has to do that because the way the scoring system is set up, you can plug in what you have and it gives you a start value. So I think every team, every coach has to take inventory and see what they have. So I don't know that, that's a good question. I probably need to look at other teams more. I know we try to change it up because it's a lot more fun that way, but I think every coach will have to as their dynamic change and as their talent changes.
I just wondered, maybe they work all year and they just feel like they're getting their routine down and then their season's over. Why don't they just start from there the next year, and maybe try to perfect it even better from year to year?
Well, just with anything in coaching, when you lose one athlete, the whole dynamic changes, not just mentality-wise, but also talent-wise, and then someone has to step in and take that spot. So that would be the reason. I mean, this year losing, 17 when we graduate, we'll be an entirely new team next year, which I'm excited about. I think that'll be great, but I think once you lose one top or one base, someone has to step into that. So you may have to work a little differently around that. All
right, very good. What about the success of the other sports around you, and you're a part of that? Everybody really feeds off the other sports success, don't they?
They do. I'm just happy to rub shoulders with these folks. I mean, I'm just happy to be in the room with them.
You know what? They say the same about you.
I don't know about that. No, I mean, it's the best school in the country. You just can't argue.
Yeah, but football success, very high profile. Men's basketball joins you as national champions. Women's basketball, both the men and women in the top 10 in the preseason poll.
Right.
I mean, there's a lot of winning going on.
There really is a lot of winning at Baylor.
That is fun. Very good. All right, well, let's take a break. We'll be back with more in just a moment. When we come back with Coach Felicia Mulkey, a very nice honor has been given to the Acrobatics and Tumbling team that will take shape this week. So we'll talk about that when we come back. You're tuned into the Baylor Coaches Show. We're live at Rudy's Real Texas Barbecue, and we'll be right back after this. we continue live from Rudy's on the Baylor Coaches Show, time for our Baylor Scott and White Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics Health Tip of the Week. Staying home is one of the best ways to stay well and reduce the spread of COVID-19 unless you come to the Coaches Show at Rudy's. Avoid contact with others, limit unnecessary trips, and have groceries delivered. Find more tips at bswhealth.com/COVID-19. Thanks to Baylor Scott and White Health, Southwest Sports Medicine, and Orthopedics. And back with Coach Felicia Mulkey, head coach of Baylor's Acrobatics and Tumbling team. Coach Dave Aranda will be on with us next. I'll ask him about strongest pound-for-pound team we have. So I'll ask Coach about that. How about your staff? You've got a new assistant coach this year. Leah Nolan is back with you. And how about the rest of your staff?
So Kelsey Rowell is still here, assistant coach, and Treasure Fields, director of ops. The shirt, that's where. So Treasure,
Shout out Treasure.
Shout out to Treasure. And Aaliyah Nolan, we stole her from Gannon University. So out in Pennsylvania, she's doing great, and she's happy to be. I mean, how could you not be happy to be a Bear? But she's excited to be here. So yeah, everything's going well. Cameron Bryant is, and everybody knows Cam on the sideline. So she is here as a student manager, graduate student manager.
Oh, that's great.
Planning to go into coaching next year. So kind of around the program again. So it's been fun and energetic, to have her around.
That's fun. Yeah. That's great to keep her around, isn't it?
Yeah, she is a blast.
So remind everyone again about your coaching tree. Those branches just continue to spread out further and further.
I don't know the exact number now, but we there's a lot of Baylor Bears out there coaching acrobatics and tumbling across the country. They're about 80% of our current head coaches and assistant coaches across the country are former acrobatics and tumbling student athletes.
Nice.
Not all are mine, but quite a few. So we have Kaylin Cowan, who is our former assistant coach, is now at Augustana University in South Dakota. She's starting a program there, building a roster this year. And we know our Courtney Pate down at UMHB is doing a fantastic job. So I think you're going to see several more Baylor Bears out there over the next couple of years. Shayla Moore is out at Emmanuel College in Georgia. She and Sierra Gray are coaching together over there. So, yeah, it's fun to watch them grow, and I get phone calls sometimes and saying, I can't believe you did all of this. And I say, see, I told you.
That's right. They can appreciate that, what you did when they were here. That's great. I mentioned going to break, a really nice honor for you and your program. The Baylor Athletics Hall of Fame and Wall of Honor Banquet comes up this Friday in downtown Waco. And each year they select an honor team to recognize at the banquet. The honor team this year is Acrobatics and Tumbling, really the 6 national championship teams. That is a tremendous honor.
It was so cool. I was emotional when Walter Abercrombie mentioned it to me, and so excited to get that email out to all of our former athletes. And I've heard from so many of them that are coming in town, and I'm again, I said over the break, emotional. A lot of first year, those athletes from my first year team are going to be back with their husbands. And oh, my goodness, it's so weird, but I'm really excited to see everybody this weekend.
That is great.
Yeah.
So y'all will get together at the banquet. You have any other plans for the weekend?
I think a lot of them are coming to practice on Friday.
Fun.
So we're going to have a fun special practice, and a lot of these alumni have not been around the current team, so I'm excited to have them talk to them and tell them about their experience. So that's going to be fun. And then we have, I think we're recognized at the game.
Yes.
And then I think a tailgate. Walter's group, the B Association, has a tailgate before, so it's going to be a lot of fun. What a great game to have this.
Exactly.
I know, so even Emily Mikey, who was our former assistant coach, and her husband played football for the Bears. They're coming up too for this. So,
that is great.
I'm really excited to see them.
Well, that's going to be a lot of fun, and you sort of answered this already, but will you take the occasion to have some of your former student athletes speak to the current team?
Oh, absolutely. Anytime. Well, our alumni know it's open door, so anytime they're on campus, they can come in. But I am excited to have them talk about it because it's changed. I mean, it's still the same philosophy, but it's changed a lot since that first year.
I bet.
That first year. But it was fun. It ended well, but wow.
It did end well. Well, tell us about your schedule in the spring. What does that look like?
We have only 3 home meets this year, unfortunately. Nobody wants to come play us down here, John. We're going to work on that.
Too tough.
I know it. But 5 away. So we will have Oregon here at home. UMHB will come up and play here. And then who is my other one? Oh, Hawaii Pacific will be back.
Okay.
They're coming back in to see us at home. But we'll be on the road to Quinnipiac, back to Connecticut. It's going to be great. It's going to be a good schedule. It'll be fun. And then the national championships at Oregon. So we actually go to Oregon there at the end of the season, turn around, come home, practice a little bit, and then go right back. That's okay. The good thing about Eugene, the food is good. So if you've ever been to Oregon, we'll it'll be great. Good coffee, good food.
You know the spots in Eugene.
I do, yes. Yeah, have a special spot.
Are they, I guess we have no preseason poll until it gets closer, till it gets to the spring. Is there anything right now?
No, there's nothing right now. I think is it usually, I think it's January that it comes out.
Probably right.
Mm-hmm.
So Baylor will be number one.
I hope so.
We anticipate that in the preseason and look forward to it. So it looks like a great schedule. And you mentioned right off the top there are some other schools, some new schools that are considering adding the sport, some of those Texas schools. Mm-hmm. How great will that be when you get some in closer proximity?
I am so excited. I'm excited for us and our fans because we have such a great fan base. So I love to have the home meets because our fans are so fantastic. But it's also good for there's a lot of athletes in Texas that need a place to compete. Not everybody can come to Baylor, unfortunately. So I'm excited for just more opportunity in Texas too.
And tell everybody again, where do you recruit from? Where do you find your student athletes?
So we recruit from artistic gymnastics, which is what you see in the Olympics. We recruit from acrobatic gymnastics, power tumbling, trampoline, competitive cheer, sideline cheer. So it's a huge recruiting base, and that's why you can come in our sport and specialize in different areas. So all over the country, we have a great signing class coming in this year too from a couple of new states that we haven't had before. So we are, they're coming in from all over the country to be a Baylor Bear, but about half of them are from the state of Texas.
Yeah, Utah, Pennsylvania, Arizona, New Jersey, Ohio,
Mm-hmm.
North Carolina.
Right.
So you're bringing them in from all over the country.
Yes, all over the country.
That is great.
Mm-hmm.
Let me correct something I said mistakenly earlier. The Braves were in the World Series in 1999. They didn't win it that year. Mitch is our studio guy, and he's a Yankees fan, so he corrects me on that. But 95 may have been the last time they won the World Series.
Yeah, I mean, as far as I can remember, and hopefully I would have known if they won, right? But maybe not. Who knows? I was in Oregon for a while.
You
don't
would
get
know.
a lot of communication out there. I don't
As
know.
a Georgia Peach, you would know that. Well, we're excited about the prospects for the new season, and we appreciate you being with us tonight. Enjoy the work in the fall, and we can't wait for your schedule of competitions to begin in the spring.
Okay.
Thanks very much.
Thanks, John. Thanks.
Felicia Mulkey, Baylor's Acrobatics and Tumbling head coach, with us tonight, leading off our Baylor Coaches Show. We'll take a break. When we come back live from Rudy's, we'll be joined by head coach Dave Aranda, Baylor football number 16 in the nation, hosting Texas this Saturday at McLean Stadium. We'll be back with more right after this. And back with us on our Baylor Coaches Show. Thanks again to Rudy's Real Texas Barbecue. Join me in welcoming Baylor head football coach Dave Aranda with us as we turn the corner here at the bottom of the hour. Coach, welcome.
It's good to be here.
We appreciate you being with us. Open date last week by on Saturday. What did you feel like you guys got accomplished with the open week?
Well, the first thing was just us taking care of us, and so there was good and bad tape meetings with our coaches and our players. So the coaches really were intentional about taking time, finding video clips from practice and walkthroughs and games, and show, hey, these are the things that we're doing good. These are the things that we can improve on, and really kind of laying it out in terms of this is where we're at, right? And we've got a couple games to play. This is what we want to get better at. This is the plan to do that. And so I think there's so many guys, and I'm sure there's certain guys that are playing the amount of snaps they want to play. I'm sure there's guys that are not seeing the number that they want. And so just laying it out in terms of, man, we see you, right? We value you, and we're hearing you. I think that was the most important thing. So we did that, and then there was opponent scout on each side of the ball. So our offensive, we have quality controls, analyst guys that they don't coach on the field. They're kind of input, breakdown, computer guys, and we have some graduate assistants that also assist with that. So our offensive quality controls and graduate assistants broke down our defense as if we were going to play our defense, and then vice versa. And so that started on Monday, and on Thursday there was a presentation of, hey, this is what we see. These are the tips or tells. This is what we would do. Someone gives away a run, someone gives away a pass, or someone's a weakness, we're going to take advantage of him. And so, we spent a lot of time on that and just shoring that stuff up. I think that stuff always, when you're in the run of the season, you want to get wins and you want to do the stuff that works. And I think anytime you're successful, you're going to leave a trace. You're going to leave a trail. And so to have the ability to have a fastball is way important. But then, the ability to make the pitches look the same but throw a curve, I think is way important this time of year. And so that was a step in that direction with that.
So it's a big week for the quality control guys and your GAs, right? I mean, this was their chance to really step forward.
Yeah, I thought it was way well done. I'm really proud of them, And so, after that meeting on Monday, we talked about all that. I didn't really see them until Thursday, so they went underground, man. They're in the boiler room, and so that was cool to kind of get into that, because I think the other thing too is, when you're coach, when you're week after week and it's a grind, there's a narrative that you say of hey, the film was this, or I might have called a play, but it wasn't in a game. It was in a practice, and it didn't work. And in your mind, you kind of talk that it just don't work, And then you watch, you look at the play on the film, or you look at the breakdown, and I probably should have called that more. And so, to have people see the stuff that you're seeing, but see it with new eyes and just a way different perspective. I think defense and offense, people generally are cats and dogs, anyways, and so. I think the view is always going to be different, but was way cool, and I thought we improved a lot from that.
Now, what do you mean, cats and dogs? Describe what that is.
Yeah, just totally different ways of seeing things. Totally different ways. I think an offensive guy in general is going to be like, I think that my daughters would probably be offensive coaches. I go up to their rooms and to check in at night, after this, right, I'll go home and check in before they go to sleep, and they both have whiteboards in their room, and you can push back and forth on that, and there's like different colors, and all like the days are planned out, and there's like all this stuff on there, and it's like
Where'd they get that?
I don't know. And so, but that would be. There's offensive coaches that generally think like that. Right. I mean, there's more of just like everything's planned out. There's not one thing that hasn't been thought about. It's all color-coded and the whole thing. Whereas, my son, he doesn't know that there's school tomorrow or
right.
what class that he has, or that there's a test and all this other stuff. Yeah. And so that there's plenty of defensive coaches, I think, that could that can align with that. So
Gotcha.
there's some differences for sure.
Different ways to get to the same goal. One thing you said at your press conference Monday, you said you did a lot of self-scout, and you talked about that. I'm really intrigued by that process where you look at yourself really deeply. You've got the time to do it with an open date. I mean, don't tell me anything you found out about yourself, but are there some things that you learned through that you'll be aware of, cognizant of moving forward?
Yeah, I think, defensively, there's some formations that we played some pretty common coverages to. And so, and I think some of that was to settle stuff down and play better defense. And so, I think anytime you're playing well, there's going to be tendencies. And so it's just a matter of, like, your awareness of it and then you staying ahead of it, right? And so with, good fastballs comes a good changeup, and the timing of it's way important too. But I think, so that showed up. I think, the guys that were blitzing are I think we could all probably say who they are, and so there's some commonality with that in terms of where they're at, and the ability to change that up, and the demeanor of when he's blitzing and when he's not, so there's not a tell for the offense. Then I think on offense, there's we play a fair amount of 12 personnel, so one back and two tight ends with two receivers, that personnel grouping, and so there's some tells with our tight ends, so who's in the game in terms of what run or pass percentage is going to be, and so that the ability to change that up, and then what tight ends on, what tight ends off, there is some tells there. And so I think all those, again, that stuff comes when you're doing stuff well, and there's certain guys that can do certain jobs well, and you're playing it towards that. You're going to leave a trace, but the awareness is big, and I feel like we've got that.
In that respect, you're 7 games in, you're 6-1. You've got 8 games to go. See what I did there? 8 games to go this season. Is this a good time? Was this a good time for the open date to kind of look at those tendencies and bust those moving forward?
I think so, yeah. I think, we would I know for me, and it was happening too, I think with some of our coaches, is we get home, we were talking about seeing the kids and then sitting down on the couch, and my wife's there, and we're asking about the day, and then next thing I know, she's tapping me on the shoulder, waking me up. And so, like, when it gets to that, the having a bye is good,
sure,
and the break and all of it. And so then I think, the same with some of our players too. There is a fair amount of guys when you go down the middle of the day in the locker room, the lights are off and they're all laid out on the ground, trying to get rest in. And so I think all that stuff kind of shows itself when you're expending everything you got.
Yeah.
So came at a good time that way. But then I think for all of I look back at how we gonna play on the road in pressure situations when we're gonna have another that's gonna come up again. And so what's the improvement there? But back when that was that was a challenge, right? How are we gonna play that first Big 12 game? That was a challenge. How are we going to play after a loss? That's a challenge. So you go through all these things, and when you're going through all of that, you really focus on us and getting better at us and putting your best people in the best positions to succeed. And so that is going to leave a trace.
That's really cool.
And so I think the awareness of it, the ability to try to stay ahead of it, right, and use that to your advantage, right? If you're really good at something and you run this way, and there's 11 people that can play against you, and the majority of the numbers are that way, right? And you can still run it that way. That's great. If you're struggling with it, then having the pass that comes off the run action, or having the run counter that can come back, those are all things that the timing of it is really big, and I feel like we're set up for that right now.
Coach Dave Aranda, our guest. It's the Baylor Coaches Show live from Rudy's. Let's take a break. We'll be back with more in just a moment, including our Academy Sports and Outdoors Ask the Coach question of the night. That and more when we come back on the Baylor Coaches Show. the Academy Sports. Back on our Baylor Coaches Show live from Rudy's. We appreciate our hosts here at Rudy's. Nick is right back there in the back. Let's give him a round of applause, Nick, and the entire staff here at Rudy's. We love coming here, Nick. Oh, and they've got these, they've finally got the order of the pink cups in here in the month of October, which we're in the final week, but raising money for breast cancer awareness, Cup for a Cause again this year. So as you come by Rudy's, contribute a little bit to the make a donation for breast cancer research by picking up one of these pink cups here at Rudy's. With Coach Dave Aranda and Coach Time now for our Academy Sports and Outdoors Ask the Coach question. Here is our question for tonight.
Hey, Coach. How do you balance being a head coach and also a parent?
That's a good question. I think it's especially you have to be intentional about it. I think it's especially difficult for me now because both my girls are teenagers, and so I think there's a pull for them to be in their rooms, on their phones, or on the on their iPads and all that. And so I think for me, like when I am around, to first of all, when we eat together, that we're all eating together. Second, when I do come around, to go up and ask their day and take the time to do all that. And I think there's times where I know, like on the drive in, the day maybe didn't go great, or I could have done this better. But you have to it's way important to do that, because I think it's not like, I think family-wise we're tight, but it's not like they're thinking about, well, I wonder when my dad's getting home. I don't think they really are thinking like that. And so like I have to kind of continue to put myself in front of them. And so I've been doing a better job of that, and I feel better about that. And I think my son, it's trying to get him involved. So like he comes to practices, and he'll throw the ball around with some of the players and stuff, and having him around at down the field for the games, I think is way cool. And he wants to be involved that way, and so to share that piece of him with that. Usually in my past, I would never really talk about the day at home. Whatever was happening football-wise or whatever, I would kind of, for good or bad, shut that off and then go home and then try to see what's going on with them. But I think I'm realizing now I have to share more of it, and they want to be involved with it. And so, taking that step is difficult but necessary.
Yeah, very good. Very good question also. It's our Academy Sports and Outdoors Ask the Coach question. It's brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors, the official sporting goods and outdoor retailer of the Big 12 Conference. We've got some other questions from our audience. These are the First Place Foods Ask the Coach questions. First Place Foods, that's a darn good pickle. Tommy is right here, and Tommy says, how do our tight ends match up with the Texas safeties and nickelbacks?
Good. I think, run game wise, I think with Texas, they are looking for an identity. I think this last game that they played versus Oklahoma State runs wide zone or similar to us, and it was the most quieted down, most solidified front seven that they had played throughout the year. I feel as if, and I know their defensive coordinator, I know a lot of their coaches, I feel as if there's some really strong coaches in the defensive room, and I feel like someone's got this opinion, someone's got that thought, someone's got this adjustment, someone's got this, and that has shown up on tape. And I think that they've been struggling through stuff, I think, as kind of a consequence of just that winding road. And I think it's straightened out for them a little bit with Oklahoma State, but I think there's still the gap control and all of it that comes with it. But I feel like BJ, Foster, a couple guys that are bigger guys have the ability to be physical, but I think for them to be in a solidified spot to where their eyes are right, and their run pass recognition is right, I think that is something that our tight ends and backs can take advantage of, and that is the plan. And it's to assert the run and then get the throw game going after it. And so it's a good question because that tight end group is going to be right in the middle of it.
Yeah, that's fun. All right, very good, Tommy. Thank you for that. Here's another question. This is from Mason, who is right here front and center. Hey, Mason, thank you. And I love this question. I'm going to take this and frame it, okay? I love this question. Coach, he says, Coach Aranda, are we going to beat Texas? I think we will. Mason, that is great. Good job.
Well, I tell you this, the week of practice that we've had so far has been really good. And so, last week we had Tuesday practice, Wednesday practice. With Thursday we called it a Baylor Bowl. We had a lot of our veteran players. They were coaches. And so, there was a head coach of offense, which was Gary Bohannon, head coach of defense, which was Terrell Bernard. Jalen Petrie was the defensive coordinator. I think Xavier Newman was the offensive coordinator. And they're calling plays, and they're all dressed like coaches. I think Terrell was acting as me, and so I don't think he said 2 words during the whole scrimmage, and standing straight up, just staring at people. So it's kind of hard to look at. And so so they were all doing that, but so the guys were having fun. But then we were able to come back Monday, yesterday, really good. And so you feel good when you have to earn the wins, and you feel good when you're earning it.
Very good. Mason, good question. Appreciate it. Looking forward to the game against Texas coming up on Saturday. Those are First Place Foods Ask the Coach questions. First Place Foods, that's a darn good pickle. Let's take a break here. When we come back, talk more about the game this Saturday, the Longhorns coming to Waco. Plenty more with Coach Dave Aranda. We'll have that when we come back live from Rudy's. Thanks to Rudy's Real Texas Barbecue. Back on the Baylor Coaches Show right after this. Back with us on the Baylor Coaches Show with Coach Dave Aranda. We've got one more question from the audience. The young lady in the back asked this question, and thanks for the reminder. I meant to ask you this right off the top, but it is from Felicia Mulkey, our Acrobatics and Tumbling head coach, who was with us the first half hour. And she says, which team is the strongest team on campus pound for pound?
Her team.
There's the answer, right? No hesitation there. Have you seen them? Have you seen Acrobatics and Tumbling?
It's very impressive.
Yeah.
Very impressive. I know my wife and my girls have gone, and just came away just raving about it. And so they're looking forward to going again. I want to go this time.
Yeah.
And so very impressed.
Best program in the country right there, no question about it. Very good question, ma'am. Thank you very much. You're welcome back anytime. Baylor and Texas coming up on Saturday. This is the 111th meeting between the Bears and the Longhorns. It probably didn't take you long in your time here in Waco to find out, oh, that's a really good rivalry between these two.
Yeah, you could feel it just in the week's prep, and just there's an energy that you can feel just walking around in the hallways and when you get to meetings, and just there's the eyes on you, the notes that guys are taking, just the intentionality. You just feel it, and so it's cool when you're in weeks like that. When it translates to the grass, and just the effort and the care factor is at an all-time high. It's really good. I think, and then for us, just being as connected as we are, coming through last year to where we are now, and just that whole kind of winding road, I think we're meant to be here. We're ready for this one. I'm excited for it.
Wow, that sounds good. Any particular thoughts about Texas leaving the Big 12 in the years to come? Is that a motivating factor at all, playing them?
No, I'm going to talk to the team tomorrow about the horns down, and so I think you have to cover your bases with that.
Yeah.
But I think it's I look at it purely from, like, I have a lot of respect for Sark. I think Sark is a great. So when I was the defensive coordinator in Hawaii, we played him when he was at Washington, and they beat us. And then 2019, we played him when he was at Alabama, and we were able to get that win. But is very astute, is a great student of the game. He has a good play collection, and so he came down actually at Alabama with Pete Golding. This was right after I was hired. I want to say I was here maybe a month, and he was down, and he was visiting with George Munoz and going over the LSU offense and taking notes and watching film. And Pete Golding, their DC, was meeting with Ron, who we've known Pete for a long time, from back to Delta State. And so, but that to me is Sark right there.
Yeah.
That's him.
Yeah.
So Sark is someone that's going to collect plays, and what's the newest trend, what's the newest this, where can I grow? If you're in cover 2, what do I run? If it's cover 4, what do I run? Man coverage, how do we rub and pick people? And so that's so they jump on people in games really early in games. I think their first half scoring compared to the third and fourth quarter, there's really not a comparison. And I think so much of it is they've got the plays dialed up for what they're expecting. And so for us to play our stuff better, for us to disguise, for us to change it up occasionally there is going to be way important. And then for us to keep, pounding the rock, after whatever happens, good or bad, in that first half is really going to be key. So this game will test this in a multitude of ways. Fired up for it.
What do you tell your team about horns down? It could be a penalty, right?
Oh yeah, we can't do that.
Yeah,
I know. And so we've got trying to find a picture of Sean Bell when he did.
That's what I was going to say.
And listen, this is let's save that. We get in the locker room.
Yeah.
After the win.
There's some pretty good video of Sean Bell after throwing a touchdown pass. Yeah, you've seen that. So that comes up on Saturday. It should be great weather. Another home game at McLean Stadium. I think the fans have been looking forward to this game. Every game, but this game in particular for a long time.
Yeah, I'm excited for a home game. I think for us, like our maturation and our improvement as a team, I think is really mirrored kind of the home game experience. And so for that's one thing, being having the bye and being on a couch watching games on TV, just you can see the difference that a home field advantage makes. And really looking forward for us to bring that type of energy. I feel like we're going to need it versus a real good Texas team.
Very good. Go home and hug those kids. We appreciate you being with us tonight. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
All right. Coach Dave Aranda, Baylor head football coach, with us tonight. Appreciate his time. Let's take a break. We'll be back and wrap things up on the Baylor Coaches Show right after this. And back with just enough time to wrap things up on tonight's Baylor Coaches Show. Here's a look at the upcoming schedule in Baylor athletics. Baylor Soccer closes the regular season on Thursday in Norman against Oklahoma, 7 o'clock match time for Baylor and OU Soccer. Then they'll open play in the Big 12 tournament in Round Rock this year on Sunday. Baylor cross country runs at the Big 12 championships in Stillwater. That is Friday. On Saturday, of course, Baylor football versus Texas, 11 a.m. at McLean Stadium for the Bears and the Longhorns. Thanks to HEB, our game sponsor on Saturday. Bright and early, come on out and tailgate ahead of the game, and then an 11 a.m. kickoff on Saturday. Then look ahead 1 week, Wednesday, November 3rd, Baylor women's basketball with their second and final exhibition game against West Texas A&M. The women are playing right now in the Farrell Center. Hey, thanks for being with us. Thanks to Coach Mulkey and for Coach Aranda. Thanks for being with us this evening. We'll talk to you next time from Rudy's.
This has been a presentation from Learfield,